and I'm going to be doing a Smart Girl's Guide to High School. This one will be based on studying for exams such as midterms and finals. I know a lot of people have already had their midterms. I haven't, and I wanted to share some of my studying tips with you. This series is something I started last year, and it basically has helpful tips on surviving high school and what supplies you need and other tips about high school. I am an ambassador at my high school, so I definitely do help a lot of the freshmen out with all these things, such as freshman focus. So I am going to show you some of my studying tips for midterms and finals and exams. So firstly, I do a lot of my homework and texting or writing on my iPad. My school next year will be changing from textbooks and notebooks to tablets such as the iPad or the Kindle Fire. So I'm going to go and open up a few apps that are very helpful, especially if you have an iPad mini or an iPad. The first one is gFlash Plus, and I will go quickly right here. I'll have all these apps linked in the info box or written in the info box right there. Another one is this one, which is GoodNotes. And then lastly, the actual notes one, which is spelled notes plus O-T-E-S. So all of these will be linked in the info box down below. So those are some of my favorite apps for studying. I'm going to open up gFlash Plus. And this is basically an app that uses Quizlet. And Quizlet is an online website where you can create your own quizzes to help you study for your exams. So the first one I'm going to open up is English Free, and this is basically a flashcard app. That's what it helps you do, especially if you don't have flashcards available. This is a free app. So this one says nonsense word, and then I tap here and it gives me the definition. A word that having no meaning. So this is going to help me study for my literature exam on the literature term. Another helpful suggestion for this is putting examples of the books that you'll be tested on the exam if you are going to be tested on any of them. So for flashback, I know you might not be able to see that. Flashback, tap here. The example, when main character doesn't go back to save his brother, the lagoon. So that's basically a little example of that specific word. Now, if you actually are using textbooks to study instead, I have my environmental textbook right here. So as you can see, I have some papers for each of the chapters we were tested on. I've actually already taken the exam for this, so I can tell you what my study tips for this was. So I'm just going to open up to chapter 1 and show you. So firstly, I went through and did some of the questions that were on the review sheet. Now these questions were actually on the exam, 5 from chapter 1 to 5 and 5 from chapter 6 to 9 were on the test. So on the top with a little post-it note, I wrote write out vocab. And then another thing I do is I will go through and read the highlights from the textbook beginning from that chapter, and I read that twice, and I also read the vocab. Now I also put little post-it notes on top so I remember to go back to this chapter after I'm done studying all the other chapters. So this is definitely a good idea, especially if you don't own the textbook. I do not own this. The school owns this, so I can't write in it or highlight it like I do with my history textbook. I actually, when I'm reading the textbook in history, I will go through and highlight and leave post-it notes telling me what to go over while I'm actually doing that section. So if I'm doing chapter 1 in the beginning of the school year, I will do that, write some post-it notes, leave them there, and then when I go back to study for midterms, everything's all ready for me and I don't have to cram through studying. My last suggestion for studying is having a folder for your exam. Now this folder, you'll keep all of your handouts for studying in it. And it has 2 folders, mine. I have different subjects on each side. Each subject is shared with another subject, so the first one I have a math packet. And this just has questions to do for homework to help you review. So I actually have the one due Friday circled because that's the homework I have to do. But this is problems to do, especially if you don't remember a lot of the math terms that you did in the beginning of the school year. Right here I have my literary terms that I wrote into flashcards. And then since I do go to a Catholic high school, I have religion, so I have the religion review packet, and I just go through and I answer a couple of chapters each night, and I have 3 or 4 left to do. So definitely doing the review packets or making your own review packet of things that you don't remember will be helpful. So that's it for my Smart Girls Guide to Studying for Exams. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any more suggestions for these type of videos, leave them down below or on my Facebook page at Makeup That Smiles. And I hope to talk to you guys soon, and I hope you guys do well on your midterms and exams.